How many times do you see a 6 foot, 125-pound man fight in the octagon right here? Because it's not a common commodity right here. And even Jose Johnson, the man, I don't think he has actually made officially 125 pounds yet. So what do you think about this?
I don't think ever, Derek. I mean, at that size, I don't think ever. We're talking who? Oh man, I can't even I'm blanking names because I have no idea who's even in the 125-pound class that would be above 6 foot. So right,
Yeah.
it's crazy. I'm excited to see if, like you said, even if he does officially make the weight, because that's a crazy build, man. And for him to be cutting down to that from whatever he is, you're 6 foot, you're easily walking around 150, plus. Yeah, no, this is gonna be interesting to see how he gets it done.
So my biggest question right here, and this is just even not even if you weren't a fan of the sport, right? If you didn't break things down, even if you didn't even watch casually, right? A 6 foot man versus a 5'4" man, like you would automatically be like, oh yeah, Johnson's the favorite. He's a 6 foot fucking stat. What are you talking about, man? This dude could hit you from the other side of the cage. If we're looking at the reach, actually, it's not that bad. 71 inches for Johnson and then 65 inches for Almabayev. So I'm imagining that entire reach is probably in his legs or something. You know what I mean? Like that's where all that length is coming from. But that gives you inherent advantages right there. And if you actually look at Energy, Charles Johnson, right? He's fought Jose Johnson twice on the regional circuit. And he mentioned that when he fought, first it was catch weights. Jose Johnson didn't make that weight. But he said when they did fight, that he could just feel the difference in the size and the range. And he still wrestled his way to a victory. So that brings us to the bout that we're at here. Path to victory, Almabayev. You make no chances. You take none, zero risks. You wrestle this man up, and that's how you get your victory. Do you see any other path to victory for Almabayev?
No, that's like you said, man. Get on the inside, get him down, and don't let that long length really do some damage. I mean, it seems like the odds makers are also thinking this one's going to get to the ground pretty quick, minus 110 for the submission. That's
Yeah.
pretty much everybody's first train of thought right here.
So, other question right here is that do you think that being able to wrestle very well is good enough to land an opening ticket price of minus 335 for Almabayev, given you have the massive height and reach disadvantages?
No, 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 not only wrestling, Derek, not only trying to get a takedown. I don't think that demands or validates a minus of this magnitude right here. But you got to remember, I mean, Asu Almabayev, he does have a couple other intangibles out there, and I like him because he does. I mean, it's a little bit of a predictable, right? Crash in and then shoot, but
Yeah.
he is able to damage you whenever he is crashing in. He has a couple things he could work for right here.
Don't get me wrong. Like, all respect to Almabayev. I think this dude is totally skillful. I think he's an awesome fighter. I just think that a lot of your tools will not work with that large of a discrepancy. Have you ever tried to punch up before? Like, it's not the same. You know what I mean? So, like, if you're trying to throw your punches and you're practicing against people who are relatively in like a 3-4 inch differential to where you're at, all right, cool. You're talking about 8 inches, bro. Like, yo, like, I'm just saying, man, those are the little things people don't think about. Like, the dynamics of where you're throwing your attacks are different. Only thing that I think is going to be the game plan here is you need to attack the body if you're Almabayev. But let's get off of the Almabayev side and let's talk. Is there any possibility here for a live dog, Jose Johnson? This dude is 16-8 overall in his career, 1-1 in the UFC. Let's not forget, he submitted Shannon Helliger in his last fight right here. So we over here talking about you're going to get choked out and all that good stuff. He got a submission win to get avenged from getting submitted against him on Blackshear, which we know is not a bad loss to take right there. But aside from staying standing and just trying to hit Almabayev on the end of your shots, do you see any realistic path to victory for Jose Johnson here?
Realistically, if I'm in Jose Johnson's camp, man, I am telling him avoid the takedowns at all costs. If this thing hits the mat, stand up, get out of there. Like we said before, knees up the middle, uppercuts, jab all day long. You have so much distance on this guy. Why even tempt fate and just go to the ground, man?
Lot of early finishes for Jose Johnson on the other side for Almabayev, though, even though he's submitting a lot of people, and that's clearly why he's got a ton of submissions on his record. That's why the submission prop is valued at minus 110. Do you see any possibility this one going the distance?
No, I don't. You know what's crazy, Derek? Normally, I would say yes. Like most fights, there can be a way which this one goes. I don't see this one happening. Something in me right now, I don't know why, it's telling me Jose Johnson can land a knockout early in this fight, or we're just going to see Asu Almabayev just dog Johnson all day long and get a submission either late or early to late in the fight.
1.5 rounds over or under?
Man, I think this one's going to go under. What's the odds though?
Odds makers like the over. They have minus 195 for the over, plus 165 for the under, and I tend to agree.
Yeah, no, that's where I was debating because they both, I can see how it happens. But if Almabayev's able to close that distance early, or like I said, if Johnson's able to just to land one and Almabayev isn't expecting it, things can happen. See, fight time for them is both a little bit over 10 minutes. I can see the over happening. I'm still going with the under.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. This is the last thing that I'll say, bro. Given that Alaskarov, right, he was our minus 1600, just lock on the card right there. It makes me always just think about who's going to be the parlay buster on the card. And if we're just talking about these 4 fights for the main card fight, is Almabayev, could he be the parlay buster? Or do you feel that there's another fighter on the card that we've discussed that's a little more likely to be the parlay buster?
I think it might be Almabayev, Derek, and I made this just a gut feeling, folks, so don't bet too much on it. But I still feel like there's something Johnson can possess that's going to be able to do a little bit more than people are expecting in this fight.
This is something you can't read on paper. This is something that's an intangible, man. You just have such massive frame discrepancies. There's a reason why Jalen Turner at 6 foot, 155 pounds, we even say that's ridiculous. It's just 125 pounds. Again, we'll need to see if he can actually make the weight, because if he does, he will be 125 pounds for all of 10 minutes, right? And then we're going to balloon back up, but that's the fight game. Asu Almabayev, that is going to be the clear play. The only question that we wrap up here with, AJ, is do you actually place a wager on Asu Almabayev at what was minus 335 has turned into minus 650? Are we placing a wager on that?
I'm not. No, that's a stay away from me. Even at minus 110 for the submission, whatever that's grown to as well, because I'm sure it has. Nah.
Parlay?
Unless you want it busted.
That's right. Fair enough. All right. See, this is what, think with your minds, folks, man. Not just the emotion. You don't just bet just to bet. You have to have a very clear path to a return on your investment right there.